Okay, question number 2. My cousin is donor conceived and he just found his biological father online. His parents are upset. Do I support him or stay out of it?
I would say this somewhat depends on the age of the child. If the child is over 18, you go all in with the kid. If the child is under 18, if they're 12, which I don't know why they would find their father online, but there's a lot of kids that are curious really early. I would tread carefully, because you do want them to feel like they can talk with their parents. They might need an outlet. They might need a safe space, but I wouldn't necessarily charge in there with well, I think that you should just reach out to your biological father and start a conversation with him. It would be more of that, what I call careful validation, where you say, you know what, you're right. You're right to feel like there's something missing. You're right that his identity matters. You're right that it's sad that you feel like you can't talk with your parents about this, but why don't you give it another try? So I think that you need to go a little easier when they're young. I wouldn't broach the topic with somebody that's under 18. If they come to you and they talk to you about it, I would go with the careful validation of what they're experiencing. If they are over 18, I would say, yeah, you're exactly right here. And, you know, obviously you want to go with discernment. A lot of times what you're facing as a 18 and older is you desperately want a relationship, or you at least want information from this man who is your biological father, and you're fearful of a possible rejection from this man that everyone says is a nobody to you, and yet for some reason their approval and their welcoming you into their life matters to the point where you stay up late trying to figure out how to word that email exactly right so they don't say, "Get out of my life, kid. I promised an anonymous donation. I never want to hear from you again." So I would just say, it depends on how old the child is. I of course side with the child. You just need to be really gentle and careful when they're under 18.
That's a great point. We've had 2 podcast conversations recently with gals who are conceived using IVF. One found out her parents told her early on, and they also struggled with the morality of it. Like they were all kind of learning at the same time the ethical issues of IVF. So it was easier for her to connect with her parents about her feelings about it. Another gal I talked to, it was a lot more tension. Her parents kind of don't really want to engage around the questions that she had brought up. And she said, we kind of got to the point where we just know how the other person feels about it and we don't talk about it all the time. And I agree with what you're saying that if they're an adult, you're an adult and you found out that you were donor conceived. Part of it is just equipping yourself for how to talk to your parents. You can have compassion that your parents maybe didn't know all the different things, or maybe there are some things they regret. And I think you could still communicate an appreciation that you love them. I am thankful to be alive. And also, I'm balancing these other feelings. But a lot of parents went into these things not knowing the ethical questions, and we have the benefit of seeing a lot of this in hindsight and we've learned so much. But a lot of people need help, like some hand holding, getting to that place. And that's a hard place for the kid to be. Like, I need to handhold my parents through this. Again, as a minor, I don't think that's their job. And if that's your cousin, it's your job to help your minor cousin or friend. Hey, I'm here for you. I'm listening to you. What you're feeling is totally fine and rational, like some of those kinds of things. But I think you can kind of coach and handhold your parents to a point. And then there might be a point where you have to say, I kind of have to separate myself and engage with what I need to do to meet this person. And I'm just going to do it the best way I can without hurting my parents intentionally.
Yep. There's a lot of variables there. And being supportive of the kid is definitely the priority. But I like what you're saying, that the parents might be coming from different places of recognition, understanding, and um, acknowledgement of their how they were complicit in it. And that's a factor too.